Another Fantano breakdown on Spotify. He has so many videos where he hates Spotify.
New awful terrible headline, which is a total nightmare. Spotify strikes deal with Universal Music to let premium users create AI covers and remixes.
Side note, did y'all hear the news that they're now creating AI podcasts? What? Like, I even had the Google AI. I tried out the Notebook early AI, before we knew all the things. But I was studying some technology things, and I put in there, talk about software engineering. And it was so weird because it has a mode in the Notebook where it's like they're talking back and forth to each other. But AI gets so many things wrong. You're going to be filling yourself up with stuff that's going to sound polished and it's going to sound like it's making sense, but you're actually filling yourself up with hallucinations, which is the technical term for what AI does. Is it can't process like a human. It can't keep context for a very, very large amount of items, and then it just makes up what it thinks is the most plausible sounding thing. So y'all do not take your commutes and listen to AI podcasts.
Okay, sorry to hit you guys back to back with like Spotify sucks videos, but we kind of have to do this. I have been sounding the alarm on the fact that the major labels, especially UMG, have been looking for ways to essentially partner up with
Neku.
and settle with these burgeoning AI music companies like Suno and Udio, which they recently nailed down some pretty hefty settlements with. But the major labels' interests in these
I gotta read what that says.
Sounding the alarm on the fact that the major labels, especially UMG, have been looking for ways to essentially partner up with and settle with these burgeoning AI music companies like Suno and Udio, which
Warner Music settles with Udio, signs deal for licensed AI music platform. So y'all, my last corporate job was with Warner Music Group. And this is exactly what I knew was going to happen. And I think it's exactly why they had the layoffs that they had, where they took a lot of the people who were music industry or, traditional music as it's been for decades. They let a lot of us go. And they brought on more technologists. They brought on, the new CEO was over at YouTube. And then a whole bunch of their engineers were from Google and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh no, this is about to get maybe too tech forward. And they probably think because AI is coming that it can take over the industry and we won't need people to understand music because we're just going to have these supercomputers figuring stuff out. Yikes. My goodness. They
recently nailed down some pretty hefty
Suno and Warner Music Group Inc. licensing deal, effectively settling Warner Music Group's legal claims against the AI music company. The deal also includes the acquisition of Songkick, a live music discovery platform which was previously owned by WMG. Wait. Oh, Suno took Songkick from Warner? Interesting. Or, I mean, not took it, but purchased it from them. Interesting.
Settlements with. But the major labels' interests in these platforms and AI music in general goes far beyond protecting their catalogs and making sure that they're getting paid for songs they own that are getting ripped off through these AI interfaces. No, I think their interest goes much further. And for a minute, while the details were kind of scarce, there have been announcements on the major label side that there, will be some kind of rollouts with AI technology that ties in with the already pre-existing works in their back catalogs. And now I think we're starting to see the first big step.
Oh, I think I might know what the news is because I did also hear that Spotify is signing with one of the major three label groups, and it's going to allow artists to opt in to receive money from other people putting their art into an AI generator, and then they get to make money off of it. So it's gonna be a thing where saying they're probably saying to the artists at the label, oh, you're gonna make more money because if you let people put your songs in AI, then you'll then make more money off of whatever they create on your song. But I think that's a little bit wild, and I think they're just trying to figure out a way, how do we get more artists to put their art into AI? But as soon as it's in there, I don't know if you can then take it back out. I mean, I guess you can say this is the only things you're gonna create from, but ooh, this might actually bring like a civil war of artists, I feel like, because if you have some artists who are putting it in and then others who aren't, and then you can kind of know who is and isn't, if you can, I think some artists are going to be very upset that other ones are embracing this when it is such a triggering thing for so many people. My goodness. Oh, another way to milk the artist. Good point, Wise, because the label still makes more. So they're finding, what are more ways that we can put your music out there, and we'll give you a little bit of money, but right, Wise, the label's going to get even more of that money. If only more artists stayed independent. Yes, Leroy, absolutely. The artists I was managing a long time ago, I kept telling them, like, I know y'all want a major deal, but it's really, really good if you want creative control for you to stay as independent as you can. And then the last thing I did with them was like negotiate their distribution deal instead. So yes, stay independent if you can. And if you get big enough as an indie, then you get to call the shots when you make it to a major, by the way. It's like that's the blueprint of what Chance the Rapper did. He had a indie fan base, and then when you're bringing all your fans and they don't really have to do anything, you can negotiate a very, very good contract in the major as well. It made sense back 30, 40 years to be on a label, but there's too much technology now. So much. I mean, the thing that still makes sense is they have money and connections. And so if you want it fast, that's the fastest way to blow up because they just have so much money. But at the same time, you might get signed to a major and then get put on the shelf because some artists are signed and they become like tax write-offs. So many pieces to that. But yeah. He said, especially if the artist is in debt from the advancement, yep, they really have no choice but to. Especially if they sign over their likeness and name. There's so many things that people will give away and not realizing how much it is actually worth. The way that side AI doesn't sound very different from Trump Sly.
Toward that with this Spotify announcement. Yes, the company is essentially coming forward and for a premium price, allowing users the ability to create AI versions and remixes, whatever, of whatever song they choose. Now, if you remember months ago on this channel on a video that I ingeniously in the title used the term.
I love how I said, I think I know what this is about. That's the first thing. It says Spotify and UNG announced licensing deal that allow AI covers and remixes. Okay. I did hear about it before this too. Completely forgot it said that.
Slopocalypse. I warned in that video this sloponiously in the title used ago on this channel on a video that I ingeniously in the title used the term slopocalypse. I warned in that video this AI music and major label marriage could mean some pretty horrible things. In terms of our shared internet feeds being flooded with even more AI garbage. Like one of the things in my view that has kept that at a little bit of a minimum on the music side is that a lot of these AI music platforms are afraid of coming out with songs and too many tracks that sound exactly like the mainstream major label music that they're obviously copying and ripping off, especially when it comes to specific artists. But again, just imagine the flood of trash you will see on every social media platform if any artist on UMG's label with maybe somewhere between 30 or 60 million monthly listeners says yes to this. Because as of right now, this does seem to be dependent on artists opting into having their music remixed and played with in this way. Now, that could mean anything from like a single song, maybe to help promote with a rollout, or their entire catalog. And look, even if the number of artists who partake are on the minimal side, if someone huge like Taylor Swift, for example, says yes to this, just imagine how many stupid, dumb, idiotic, annoying variations of any single Taylor Swift song we're going to hear, we're going to see getting posted left and right and over and over and over and over.
Sly's nightmare. Y'all, Sly's the #1 Taylor hater I've ever met in my life. And he just described the worst case scenario for Sly's world.
It's going to be everything from Taylor Swift songs where all the lyrics are swapped out to be about farts to, I don't know, Taylor Swift songs, but with like Sabrina Carpenter or Lana Del Rey vocals. And yes, as much as we would all like to think that, you know, at the end of the day, these are artists and they care about their craft and they care about how their music is being treated and used and repurposed, nobody really wants to see their music getting pulled apart like that. I don't know. Money does talk in the music industry, and I'm sure Spotify and UMG alike are going to do what they can to sweeten the deal and make it immensely profitable to opt into this stuff, maybe even for the people who are prompting these crappy AI songs too. And look, in the immediate sense, even if all this is used for is like dance remixes of songs or creating versions of tracks that have silly lyrics or something, this is still just the tip of the iceberg, the first step toward where the labels actually want to go. And that's replacing human artists entirely with virtual AI generated artists.
And I called that a long time ago. I should try to find my tweet I put out maybe 7 years ago. And I was like, man, the future is them creating AI artists because they don't like humans. The music industry does not like artists. They just like making money off of music. And so they just want to be able to sell it, and they don't like having a human that, you know, may complain. And this is also old Hollywood, old money. They're very anti-human. And so one thing about them is like, oh, I want to have the artist perform at 100 show tour, but then let's say the artist gets sick or, you know, gets sleepy or doesn't want to do it, loses the energy or X, Y, and Z. They hate that. And so it's the one industry that you just can't make a person into a machine. The one thing where it's like, oh, I'll just use a robot factory. Like we used to build things by our hands in factories. Then when the mechanical revolution, robots started to do that. Then art was like one of the final frontiers of like, you need humans, and you know, there's digital ways to make music. Like you can have a beat machine. You don't actually have to play the art or play it. And this was, I knew, going to be the thing that they have been looking forward to for so long. Like, oh my goodness, we have an artist and we just tell it what to do and it doesn't talk back. It won't try to negotiate more money from us. It's not gonna, you know, ask for this or that.
Do you know how hard it is to push an artist? They gonna tell you, I don't want to do that. Jimmy Iovine famously told me one day, get you something that don't talk back. What is—
I just told y'all what it is. This is who they are.
better than the AI artists that don't talk back?
And so far, they haven't been able to float that balloon very high just on its own. But imagine how much faster that process is going to accelerate once you have 1, 2, 3, 4, a couple dozen viral tracks that are being presented as not just like an AI song, but this is like an approved industry safe song from Sabrina Carpenter, Drake, Taylor Swift, what have you, generated by AI. Because believe it or not, that kind of legitimacy will actually convince and drive approval within a lot of people. And like I said in that old video too, this could do a lot to hurt and destroy album cycles as well. Because why is any fan of a given artist going to look forward to a new era of that artist's music, a new batch of songs, when AI platforms and AI users are constantly churning out new tracks from Lady Gaga or whoever approves their music to be remixed or covered or sampled in this way? But yeah, not good. This is a not good thing. This is very bad. This is bad things happening, bad times. Shout out to streaming and the labels though for doing their best to make music worse every day. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. I'm sure you will. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, AI, not forever.
So, and one thing for me is like, I feel like there are too many people in positions of power in music who aren't also musicians. And I think they probably think that it would be bad to be a musician in this day and age, and especially with how cutthroat some of the things with the music industry is, or many large industries. It's like they don't want you to have the sympathies toward the art. You have to, for them, only think about dollars. Only the dollars make sense instead of thinking about an artist. But when you listen to humans at large, usually they like the perspectives of artists more than a lot of other people. That's why we listen to so much music. Everybody likes some type of music. And so it's just kind of like really, really crazy thinking about that clip that he put in, like, oh, a musician talks back. Maybe they should. Because even think about people working in America over time. We absolutely had to say and stand up and say, hey, what if we do it like this? It might make things better. And then giving people weekends off actually made people more productive instead of working them all the time, which makes people less able to do inspired good work. So it actually benefited these companies to have pushback on the crazy practices that they do and have, and they just don't see it with music. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. I feel like if artists felt that they could speak up more, because that's the thing about Hollywood, it's the thing about the music industry. People start to get afraid to speak up when you know if you say something, they could just shelve you, put you on the shelf. Okay. And so you're like, oh, let me go along to get along. Not me. Like, that's also parts of my story. But some people go along to get along because the fame bug has hit them and they just want so bad at it by any means necessary to get to this place. And so everything is harmed because of that, because it's looking for attitudes instead of looking for talent, looking for inspiration, looking for something good for society. And then they end up giving more money to people who may not have the best intentions for society by way of only promoting people who can be so maybe narcissistic sometimes, like, oh, it's about me and getting fame. I don't care about anything else. That's not really great to just give them money either. So all of that to say, we are needing artists. Wise, back to Wise. Wise, we need you to keep making music. We need everybody making music. And like Fat Keys, we need more good music. We need more real music. We need more people feeling things, discussing things that we're going through in the world, in art, so that we can all, have a better existence and get to a better place. Y'all, we need the art for that. Okay.